Now I can go to mine and see the comments. Why can I not go to this?
What are you doing?
Oh, I was just trying to open up so I can see the chat.
All right. You got 3 comments so far.
There we go. What's up, Gary? Oh, there we go. I like seeing the chat way over there. SMMHS Pro ARD. Well, I don't know what this guy ARD looks like. He's been emailing me, asking some questions, and he's been on a lot of chats and commenting on videos. What's up, Dennis? Kevo's Fish and Reptile. SC Reefer, what's up, dude? He's back. Fishy Snowman's been leaving a lot of comments. What's up? No power for 8 hours. Yep. Get the air pump in there. Get the moving blanket on it. My town's been out of power for the majority of the day. Luckily, it's not my neck of the woods that's out of power. It's super windy, like 50, 60, 70 mile an hour gusts. It's raining like crazy. Hello, Keith, Extreme Gamer. What's up, Jay? What's up from Gloucester? What's up, buddy? Glenn. What's up, Steve? Is this the wrench, Steve, that is literally the wrench for everybody's live streams? I got to give this guy a wrench soon. I gave Dave's Reef Tank Madness Nano Reefer Dave. I gave him a wrench. He's always good on the live streams. He keeps it cool. Even when like Rico's gone, he knows what Rico does and doesn't want, so he's been there. Yep. Josh, Long Island, same. We got a nor'easter hitting New England. My special guest is still trying to get on, but I do have another special guest, my brother from another mother, Michael. Yes, folks, his name is Michael. His name is what? It's really not Aaron. We got Michael Aarons. That's right, folks. Michael, Mike, Miguel, however you want to say it. His name is Michael. He's on. I got my dog Huckleberry right here, annoying the crap out of me. Unlike Mike's dog, who's nice and cozy behind him sleeping, my dog is literally right here bothering. 8 months, and dude's got energy 24/7, nonstop.
Yeah,
Hello?
but to be fair though, it's 2 a.m. here, so that's why the dog sparked out. Otherwise, he'd be exactly the same.
Oh, I can't. The labs are amazing. Like, it doesn't matter how old they are. They're just never not puppy-like.
Yeah. Hey, Allison, is that how you pronounce it? Allison Chains?
Oh, I love that name. Allison Chains, just like the band. Is your real name Allison Chains? Because that is awesome if it is. Kavos. Hey, Lisa. Lisa, you're like another live streamer. You're on all these all day long. Do you even work?
Hey, look, Lisa's nailed it. She calls you Mike and she calls me Michael. Boom. See, Lisa knows.
She knows what's up.
She knows the script. Hey, Steve.
Huckleberry, get out of here.
How you doing?
33 people watching, folks. Share, hit that like, share. Tonight is going to be viewer's choice. Michael, your mic's not working, and my camera's not working. What is going on?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. What did I click? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, your camera's off.
I know. I don't know what just happened. Huckleberry hit something.
She's home, school, so she's home.
Figures. Oh, there we go. It's back. Is my camera on? Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. You can see me.
Guys, 39 people watching and only 11 likes. If you love Mike, if you love what Mike does for you, hit that like button, guys. Hit that like button.
Hit the like, hit the share. Who's got questions here, folks? There's been a ton of live streams tonight. Mike had his live stream. Joel from Corvus had his live stream. There's probably like 3 other live streams going on. Mike, I cannot hear your microphone.
You can't hear me?
Oh, now I can hear you.
It's just because I'm not talking. I'm letting you talk. This is your live stream.
Kevin says, guys, I just scored a 130-gallon with Stan from work. They are remodeling and not setting it back up. Got it for $50. Some of the seals are not flush with glass. Should I reseal it? Yeah, I would always reseal it for sure.
What I would suggest, though, is rather than just rebeading it, I would suggest taking it apart, taking all the glass apart, cleaning off the silicone, and then rebuilding it. You know, because simply just putting beads of silicone up sometimes isn't enough, and the pressure of the water can make the glass bow because there's no grip. So if you're gonna finger it, I would definitely suggest getting a blade and just taking all of the tank apart, cleaning all of the silicone off, and re-siliconing everything and putting it back together. That's the way I'd do it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I've only done it twice, resealed the tank, and it was a pain in the ass, and I ended up just throwing it out anyway.
I resealed a tank once, just rebeaded it, and the front of it ended up bowing out, and the water and basically the bead of silicone that I put in held for a while, but after a while it gave up and water ended up coming through the glass because it was bowed out. So then I just ended up stripping the tank down completely, getting a silicone remover, it's like a paste or something, and it breaks down the silicone, and then I just rebuilt the tank, from scratch. And Padawan, my friend, is actually still using that tank now 3 years later. So
Perfect.
definitely don't just rebead, rebuild.
What's up, Ryan? Jesper Skite is thinking about getting into the aquarium hobby, but he really likes reef tanks. Can he start with coral tank, or is that too hard for a beginner? No, you can go straight into corals. Jump right in. There's really no reason to beat around the bush. If you're going to go into the reef tank hobby, you're going to want to have corals anyway. So get in there with some beginner corals. It's weird. They say there's beginner plants, and there are beginner plants. There's actually a ton of plants that are very easy to grow, but everybody says beginner corals. And Mike, they go with softies and, maybe some LPS, but definitely no SPS. But some tanks, for some reason, like everybody says zoas are supposed to be super easy and beginner corals. I can never grow zoas. They always spread like crazy for a few months and then they just all die. I just can't grow them.
Mm. Yeah, as well, I'd say as well, as a beginner, you're only as beginner as your understanding. So just learn a little bit before you make that leap, before you get that tank, before you set that tank up. Just learn a little bit about what it is that you want to achieve, and the more that you can get under your belt straight before you set up that tank, the better foundations you're going to have, and you're going to be able to start off with more or less whatever you want as long as you know how to keep it. You know what I mean? So, it's not hard, it's not difficult, it's just putting that effort in to understand why and what is happening in your system. And you can do whatever you want. You could start off with SPS if you understood it enough.
Yeah, I mean, research always. Looks like he's going to try it out. Josh asks, how deep is my sand bed in the Evo? I use 20 pounds of Carib Sea. I have no sand in the Evo. It is bare bottom, and I'm loving every bit of it. I love the way the corals, all the colors of the corals reflect off the bottom glass. I'm really loving the way it looks right now, especially with the new Kessel I put on. There's a few corals that are not liking the light at all. But most of the corals are responding nice to it. SMMH asks, I live in Chattanooga and my local stores have German blues, locally bred and can stay in super hard, and all their tanks have a pH of 7.6. Well, that's good. I hate German blue rams. I've tried to keep those many times and they always die no matter what I do.
Mine don't.
Speaking of, we were just talking about the IA earlier. Madfish always had great success with German blue rams.
Yeah, even had them breeding at one point, didn't they?
Yeah, he was breeding them nonstop like crazy.
Mm. I did all right with German blue rams after like the first 10. But yeah, German blue rams I found quite difficult at the beginning. But once I put them in with my discus, they seem to do all right. You know, once they was in that type of environment, they seem to do a lot better than they was in like other environments that I had them in. You know, in like a planted discus tank, they seem to do quite well.
Mine would live for, let's call it 4 to 6 months, and then just randomly kick it out of nowhere.
Right.
I have no clue. I've tried, and then now I'm done. I will never buy a German blue ram, no matter how gorgeous it is. It's done.
That's getting into a bit of a jungle behind you, isn't it? Wow, that looks even bigger than last time I was on.
Oh, the thing is just out of control. I need to get in there, and actually, what's really cool about this that I've yet to see in any of my tanks is the Blixa is so huge that it has pulled from the sand bed, but the roots are so strong and long that there's like this much roots actually, like all here is like 3 or 4 inches of roots, and it's almost created like tree trunks, and the fish just go and swim. They can swim underneath it and through it because it's like the Blix is floating up like mangrove or something.
Right. I've actually just got some mangroves for my saltwater nano.
Oh, I can't wait to see that thing
Yeah.
start to grow.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the mangroves kicking in because, like what you just said then, I want the roots to really, go down and spread out so that whatever I get can, sort of like swim in and out of the roots and just create like a real sort of like, like I don't know, like just a little real focal point on the inside and the outside. So yeah, I can't wait to see them grow.
I can't wait to see that whole tank grow. What's up, JH Aquatics? Loving your fish fam news. In case anybody doesn't know JH Aquatics, we met him at Aquatic Experience, Michael. He's got that nice tan because he's from the islands, nice beard. He does fish fam news, and I really wasn't sure what it was all about. And then I watched a few episodes, and then I just binged It's literally like the news for the YouTube fish community. Like in this week, Mass Aquariums interviewed Joey, and Michael Aarons did this, and he just goes through what everybody did for the week on YouTube, and it's really really cool. So anybody who's hasn't subscribed to JH Aquatics, go check him out. He's a good dude. His channel's cool, and I love what he's doing.
Is this the guy that we met who had that power issue for a long time?
Yeah, he has had the hurricane went through the U.S. Virgin Islands.
Yes.
One day at AE, he had a suit on and he had all his gear, and he kept coming over to get interviews with us, but with the booth and everything, and we were all so crazy, there really wasn't a lot of time. I think you really only got the only interview with George, who completely took over the booth and like booted me out. I wanted to smack his punk ass in the face. He's a good dude. Hopefully he shaved that mustache.
Have you not seen his last video? He said if he gets 5,000 likes, he'll shave it.
Oh, Jesus. What's up, Ploof83 from Massachusetts? Another one from Mass. Extreme Gamer, any tips on planted tanks? Yes, I have trillions of tips. Go watch all my videos.
From the beginning to the end, and don't skip.
Yeah, you need to watch every single one at least 10 times. Do I know any big fish or coral shows coming up? I live close to NYC. Got a son. Reefapalooza is in New York City, I believe. It's at the same venue as the Aquatic Experience.
Aquatic Experience is coming up, and we'll be there.
Yes, we will be. Where are we? What's up, Naked Reefer in the house? Oh, good. Just sub JH. Good. Go sub him. Go sub Michael Aarons from Aaron's Aquariums.
I've subscribed to JH Aquatics because I didn't even realize what his channel was. So I've just subbed.
Jake's Aquarium is all about planted tanks. Hello from Arizona. You the man. Corinne or Corin, it's probably Corinne Weller. Fish for high alkalinity, pH 8.2, 10-gallon planted. Wow. I'm surprised you're getting plants to grow with such a high pH, but oh geez, I don't.
Put some salt in it and get some corals.
Yeah, exactly. That's like the perfect pH for a saltwater tank is 8.2, right?
I'd love to be able to achieve a constant 8.2.
The only freshwater fish, and like I said, you know, I've been keeping fish for a long, long time, but I am not an expert. The only freshwater fish I know that like that high of a pH is African cichlids. I really don't know, like South American cichlids like a lower pH. That's pretty high. And your plants are living. I am still shocked about that. That's like me putting any one of these plants in my saltwater tank. But hey, it's working. If the plants are growing, there must be some fish you can put in there. I would just try to get some hardy fish and try to drip acclimate them over, you know, maybe like 2 hours. Oh, look at this. Ryan says Mike and Mike by candlelight. Happy Friday.
That's what you want, innit? You know, Mike and Mike on the same thing during the evening hours. No, there's nothing better than that. Nothing better.
There is nothing better. I tried to get on Michael. Michael has a 4 reefers show that he's been doing a lot with his buddies. Who's on there? CJ, Inappropriate Reefer, and Devin from Reef Dudes. Are those the 4?
Yeah.
And you?
And me. Yeah. So we basically do a video once a week on each of our channels. So we do a rotation. So week 1, it's on my channel. Week 2 is on CJ's channel. Those 2 have already been done now, so you can catch those videos. Week 3 is on Devin's channel, Reef Dudes. That one will be going out tomorrow. Tomorrow. And then week 4 is on Inappropriate Reefers channel. So I've already filmed like the 4 videos. So you know, tomorrow obviously Reef Dudes is going to put his out, which is going to be, the topic is cleanup crew. So we're talking about cleanup crew, obviously in saltwater. And then the week after, over on Inappropriate Reefers channel, we're talking about beginner corals. And we do a little game. We play a little game, which was a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely check out the 4 Reefers show. You can go to any one of our channels. We've all got playlists on our channels, so you'll be able to, you know, find each of the videos. First video was making the transition from freshwater to saltwater, and that is on my channel. So check that out. It's cool.
I know CJ started with African cichlids. Did Devin and Inappropriate Reefer start with? No, he didn't start with freshwater. They started right with saltwater, right?
No, Devin actually did like planted aquascapes before he went salt, but that was before his YouTube days, really. And I think Inappropriate Reefer also, you know, had a bit of a dabble in freshwater before, and or he might have gone straight in, but he is currently having a bit of a dabble with freshwater now.
Yeah, I know he's got his freshwater Iwagumi scape that he's doing.
He's doing it, and I've got my saltwater Uigumi skate.
Uigumi, that's what you said the other day. That's hilarious.
Uigumi. It's not easy to say.
It sounds like a candy you buy at the movies.
It's like ooey, it's gooey.
JH says, I put the 4 Reefer show on the Fish Fam News like 3 or 4 weeks ago, so get on that.
I'm going to need to catch up with this Fish Fam News, aren't I?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like watching it. Kevos Fish and Reptile says, I got some jungle val planted just 2 weeks ago. I only dose Flourish once a week, like the instructions said, and I already have babies. Oh, good. It's just saying, I already have babies popping up 2 inches. Yep. Jungle val will grow like crazy. Sometimes people have trouble. it doesn't shoot off runners right away, but eventually it'll start shooting off runners and it'll just take over your tank, and you'll just be cutting it left and right just to get rid of it. I used to sell big bundles and bundles of it. I just pull out of my tank, give it away, give it to the fish store. You know, I didn't care so much.
JH Aquatics, just a little pro tip for you. Excuse me. With the titles of these Fish Fam news, I'd also add something to the title, because it says Fish Fam News Week 6, 2018, Week 7, 2018, but there's no hook. There's no like what's happening in Fish Fam News to make me want to watch. You know what I mean? So just a little, like, you've done it with interview with Sergeant Tanks, Fish Fam News, interview with Pet Tech. So now it's like, ooh, interview with Pet Tech. I won't have a look at that. But there's a couple there that don't have anything. So it's like, whatever the thingy of the videos are, I'd put that in the title. You know, you need your hook to get people to watch it.
Always good advice. Or like make your thumbnail of something of interest from the Fish Fam News.
Yeah, something. Basically, it goes like this: thumbnails are the most important. First thing that you need to focus on is thumbnails. Second of all is your title, and then your hook. What is it? You know, what is it that's, you know, what you're going, how you're reeling those people in. So a couple of those, I'm like, you know, obviously I've gone to see which one is the 4 reefers, but it's like, I don't know which one it is. So I've got to go through them all to find it, but I might not want to. So if one of them was like new show 4 reefers or whatever, then I'd be able to go bang straight for that. So yeah, titles and thumbnails are 2 of the most important things when creating a video. They're more important than the actual video itself sometimes.
Alan Garcia asks, would you recommend leaving a UV sterilizer on 24/7 or putting it on a timer? I am completely done with UV sterilizers since one bled electric shock into my tank and I shocked myself. So I don't know if you still run one, Mike, but would you recommend leaving it on all the time?
What are we talking about? Sorry.
UV sterilizer, leaving it on 24/7 or put it on a timer?
I don't run one at all.
I don't run one anymore. I don't recommend those.
I would
For me personally, I don't like
to. Yeah, if you have to run one, if you really, really want to, then yeah, you know, I'd run it all the time if I was running it, because either way, you know, it basically, the thing is, we was talking about this on my stream earlier. UV sterilizers are not picky about what they kill. They kill everything. So, you know, the good and the bad. So, obviously only the things that go through the UV sterilizer get killed. And also as well, the UV sterilizer has to be, you know, a high radiation, high powerful one, depending on what your tank is. So say, for example, if you've got one of these canister filters that have an internal UV, don't even waste the electricity. They don't work. They're crap. But if you've got a proper, you know, like UV sterilizer and things like that, you've just got to remember that although it is killing bad stuff, it is also killing good stuff as well. So me personally, in my tank, I don't run one at all because I don't really see an issue with bad stuff. So I'd prefer to keep the good stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't run UV sterilizers, but if you want to, I'd probably just run it all the time.
As I like to call him, Dave's reefer addiction. He's in the house. He says, I'm late for work. Sorry, Mike, I'm late for work. Funny. Dave's so funny. Dave's on the live streams all the time too.
That's why I call him Granddad flipping live stream. Granddad live stream.
Fish Nerd Vlogs is here. For some reason, I only got the notification just now. Aaron and Mike again. All right, I love this. Why does my thing keep going? What an awesome collab. So I think this is hilarious. I love to talk about it, that people call you Aaron. I'm changing the name of my channel to Haynes Aquariums. So people call me Haynes. Hainesy. Everybody in my whole life has called me Hainesy. No one ever calls me Mike except on YouTube. And when my wife's pissed at me.
Michael. I was like, oh, I'm going in the basement.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Mary Beth is in the house, popping in. Happy Friday. Alan, thanks for the tips. Alpha Aquarium says, oh, he's asking Scatone. So this is a viewer's Friday night live stream. You guys call it. You guys ask the questions. We will answer them. I'll try to keep up the best I can, excuse me, with the comments. And like we always like to say, my brother from another mother, Michael, is in the house to answer all your saltwater details. I can also try, but he's a little bit more experienced than I am. Maybe only by like a year, but he experiments more than me because he can't keep anything the same for more than half a second. He always needs to change and fiddle around
It's
with stuff.
6 months in and I've not touched a thing. Boom. that's like an AA meeting thing, you know. Yeah, I've not touched anything for 6 months. Well done, Michael.
Slash wants to talk about the Super Bowl. We can talk
Do you know
about the Super Bowl if
I
you want.
love Slashmaster, but I think we might need to ban him for that.
You know what? You cannot win them all. It's tough to win every Super Bowl, but the Patriots do win. Let's say in the last 10 years, they've won, well, let's call it 15 years, they've won 50% of the Super Bowls. So that's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's a Showa Kai Swordtail?
I don't know. A Showa koi swordtail from Gary. Must be some sort of fancy koi.
Swordtail? Or is it not just a swordtail, like a guppy type thing?
Well, it says koi.
Might be the color.
Could that be the color?
Because I've got a koi wrasse because it's got like those koi colors.
Naked Reefer says Mike and Mike on the mic. I love it. Hey, that's a great tagline for the show. Mike and Mike on the mic.
Yeah.
I like that.
25
Do you guys still have the coral caddy available? Yes, we do. If you're talking about my aquarium box, we do have the coral caddy. Josh is a Jets fan. I'm very sorry. What's up, Mass? Loops LA. Is he from LA? What's up from the West Coast? Fish Nerd says, why is his channel Aaron's Aquariums if he doesn't go by Aaron? Because that's his last name, Fish Nerd. Come on, son.
Yeah.
Just explain that.
That's my last name. I was trying to have a bit of anonymity. So like I don't mind being called Aaron. I'm used to it now, to be honest. I was at a public aquarium last week, and I walked in, and it's a big public aquarium. It's not like a shop; it's a big public aquarium. I still don't even know who it was that was shouting, but as I walked in, I got out of the lift or the elevator, and as I was walking through, I just kept hearing, "Aaron, Aaron, Aaron," and I was like, obviously I could hear it, but I didn't associate it with me because I wasn't in my YouTube world. So I just kept walking, and then I heard a woman shouting, "Aaron, Aaron!" I was like, "What?" And then my wife said, "I think they're shouting for you." So I turned around and it's like, "How you doing?" And he was just waving to me as the lift was closing, and I was like, "Oh yeah," I just didn't associate the name. So yeah, so it's crazy.
I think it doesn't really matter how many times we say it. Everybody always calls you Aaron.
All the time.
It's a pretty, well, it's not like a popular, but is a pop, you know, it's an American name, and there must be a UK, people must be called Aaron over there too.
It's my name obviously comes from Jamaica, so obviously it's just probably one of those things because it's only around the corner.
Well, there's a lot of Aarons in the U.S. In fact, one of my favorite skits is Kay and Peele when he's the substitute teacher. Did you ever see that one?
D nice.
Aaron.
Aaron is like, do you mean Denise? Yeah,
I love Kay and Peele. Balake. Do you mean Blake?
Oh yeah, I love that one. Does Aaron have family from the Caribbean? Yeah, my dad's from Jamaica. My dad comes from Jamaica.
You could probably use a nice big dreadlock wig at this point.
Oh man, I used to have dreadlocks. I used to have cornrows back in the day. Flipping it.
You had cornrows. I need you to email me or text me a picture of that as soon as you have a chance tomorrow.
I used to, but now The best. If I decided to have dreadlocks now, I'd look like Predator. Because
Alpha
they'd just be on the back of the head.
Alpha Aquarium says, go to O'Shaq Hennessy's office. That was actually the name of one of my fantasy football teams, was O'Shaq Hennessy, because of that skit.
Donald Fish Vibes, Trinidad and Tobago is where Mo's from. That's where Mo's from. Morris Aquariums, our other brother from other mother.
He WhatsApped me the other day. He's back
Okay.
on YouTube.
Is he back on now? I WhatsApped his mum. I rang his mum by accident the other day, and I was like, "Oh no," because I didn't mean to call her. So I ended the call on WhatsApp, but it went through. So then she was messaging me like, "Is everything okay, Michael? Are you all right?" And I went, "Yeah, I'm okay. She's Top Mo's mum.
She lives down there, right?
Yeah.
Or I thought someone he knows lives in Miami. One of his relatives lives in Florida.
GH Quiex, well, I found that Aaron's Aquariums was mentioned in week 5, and you both were in the New Year's edition. I guess you guys are popular for the salty side of my news. We're the Saltwater Kings. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
No comment. Although I did, one of the best things about JH's, can you post your name? Is your name Justin? I got to call you by your name. I can't keep saying JH. His interview with Pectech. Did you notice Pectech's giant belly and his giant Mass Aquariums t-shirt he had on?
That was filmed at the Aquatic Experience, that wasn't it? Because I remember when he was stood over, where that stupidly expensive food thing was, at the Aquatic Experience. He was, the big door where we was coming in when we was moving the stock. He was doing his little filming next to the green curtain there.
Yeah, that was right where I was. Yep. How often do you feed corals? I don't feed corals. I just do water changes. I've tried before and it just became a problem in the tank. Too many nutrients going in, not enough coming out. So I've found for my specific tank that just water changes and keeping a low fish load works the best. Fish nerd vlog. I'm not Michael. Don't even answer that. We don't have a half hour for you to tell us about all your methods. No, I'm just kidding.
No. I just use Reef Bugs. It's actually an American product. I spot feed, or sometimes I just throw it in.
So have you found that's good? Because I hear a lot of people, everybody's got they say snake oil.
My corals like it. My corals seem to react really nicely to it. You've got to mix it up a little bit. You can't just put it in water and then throw it straight in your tank. You're supposed to give it a bit of time, a bit like with is it reefroids?
Yeah, reefroids.
Yeah, you're supposed to wet it for a little bit before you use it.
And my Aquarium Box US actually has LPS powder. Is what it's called, and it's all the same stuff. You put it in water, you mix it up, you let it, like Mike says, let it breathe for a bit, and then you can spot feed your corals, and they eat it up.
Yeah, mine love it. I target feed with Reef Bugs, and that's all I do. And I don't do it that often, to be honest. I don't even know if I need to, but I do it because I find it therapeutic. I get myself one of these. What they called? Pipettes.
Yeah.
I get myself one of them, and then a little cup with the Reef Bugs in, suck it up, and then I go over to my Acans and my Lobos and my torches and my hammers and stuff, and just squeeze them a little bit in, and they seem to like it. And it doesn't just squeeze out and then float up. It's like do you know when you get those rolling fogs where the fog stays right on the floor?
Mm-hmm.
It goes like that. So like, especially if you put it in a Lobo, the channels of a Lobo and the crevices, the fog sort of like follows the channels, and literally as soon as I spray it on, the Lobo turns inside out. It's like, yes.
I may start that once again now that I've switched all my lighting schedules for all my tanks to be at night, so that I can enjoy them while I'm home. Yeah. Fish Nerd Vlog says, what have been the biggest struggles for you guys while running your channels? Well,
Muppets.
Yeah, I'll be honest without sounding too much like a dick. Nothing really, just because I don't edit. Michael does a lot of editing. He's got software, and he spends a lot of time I
Whichever.
just literally take my iPhone and I shoot the video. I don't even rewatch it before I upload it, and then boom, it's on, uploaded, done. So I guess the biggest struggle for me would be finding time to shoot the video, and that's about it.
Yeah, same for me. Like, because I can, I've got myself in a position now where I would love to be able to just drop a phone like Mike does and just walk around and go, "What's up, YouTube?" and then hit stop and I'm done. But I've put myself in a situation now where I've got to edit my videos in a certain way and do certain things. And it's not just that I want to, but it means that every video that I create is like a minimum of a 4 hour affair. You know what I mean? So it is a bit of a challenge, especially like with life and everything else. But I like it. I do love it. It's not a huge challenge, but I think just I find that I go through slumps. These are the biggest challenges: is lack of creative. Sometimes I just don't want to do anything. Like today, for example, I was lay on the sofa with the kids and I was watching Ice Age, and I was like, I want to watch all of the Ice Ages. I don't want to do my live stream today. I can't be bothered. And I couldn't get that enthusiasm to just do it. But I thought, no, I've got to do it. And I did it. And it was amazing. And I loved it. And I'm so glad I did, because it was like probably one of the best live streams I've done for a long time. But that's something that I find just sometimes just actually getting that effort up to make a video,
I agree.
just get up.
I think it's different for different ages. I was doing the same thing. I was on the couch with the kids watching Disney's Zombies. It's like a zombie musical, and I didn't want to move, but I scheduled the live stream, so I had to move.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think different ages. I think one of my most favorite questions to ask. Let me just answer this question real quick. This Harish Karanukaran, if I pronounce that right, wants to know if a 4.5 watt light is good for plants. I think in that small of a tank, you're good for your low light plants, no problem. Hopefully I pronounced that right. I'm sorry if I butchered it. What the heck was I just about to say? I lost it.
Don't ask me. I don't have the train of thought. JH Quatic said editing hurts. Editing is a love-hate thing. To be honest, the thing that I love the most about video creation is the editing. I love the editing side of things because you can get really creative. I actually hate the filming. I hate standing in front of the camera and filming, because it's like, "Hi everyone, today we're," and then it's just take after take after take, and it's like I've done it that before, where I've done that many takes that my mouth's gone dry and then my throat's gone sore, and then I really can't get the words out, and I've just gone, "Sack it, I'm not making it." I've done about 30 takes and I've gone, "No, I'm out, I'm done, I'm not making this video today."
Well, I actually wonder if it might be easier to do like you just continue it, and it doesn't matter if you mess up because you're gonna edit it anyway. With me, like there's no takes. It's I know my screen's got the stupid lines from my tank. With me, there's no editing, so I gotta like not nail it, but I kind of get exactly what I need to do, and then I just shoot the video. And if I mess up during the video, and especially if it's like 4 or 5 minutes in, there is no way I'm stopping and doing it again. So if I mess up, I mess up.
Yeah, and I think obviously that is something that people love. People, that's what people love from this channel, because it's just down to earth, and a lot of people that don't want to edit and don't want to things can associate with you, because that's how they do it and that's how they want to do it. And it's like, well, if Mike with 31,000 subscribers can grow and do things like that by just simply walking in front of the camera, why can't I? And it's very stimulating for people to feel that they don't have to go out and buy Adobe Premiere Pro for £50 a month, and they don't have to go and get themselves a flipping $1,000 bleeding camera and this, that, and the other. You can just literally just get your smartphone and off you go, and that's all you need. You're good. That's it. And that's nice.
Yeah,
I think people love that.
I believe it or not, I really would love to be able to have the time to and the know-how, I mean, I could get it after a certain, a couple of weeks of doing it to make better quality videos. I think a lot of times when you get up there a little bit in subscribers, or people expect certain things from you, maybe they want you to have better quality videos, but it's not that I'm lazy, folks. I literally, I don't even know how Michael does it with it, because he's got 4 kids, but I do not have the time to spend 4 hours editing, let's say, a 5-minute to 10-minute video. It's just not in me, and this is the way I do it. And some people like it, some people hate it, but it is what it is.
It takes me a little bit longer now because I've started getting into color grading. So now it takes that a little bit longer again. So, because I film everything flat, and by flat, I mean like when you look at it straight out of the camera, it looks like crap. It just looks like it just looks like a haze, like a flat color. And then what I do after that is I add the colors back in myself manually so that you can get a deeper, richer, more vibrant look. So when you see like movies and stuff like that, they've all been color graded. And that's what I do now. So it just takes that little bit longer now. But I really do enjoy that process. So that's why I do it.
I think I would like it too, but it's just, oh man, just the thought of taking all that footage. And I heard you on Rico's the other day, like you were just saying, talking about how you went from one area to the other, and the light was different, or it was a different time of day, so you had to match it up. Like, I'm way too OCD. Like, it would take me 10 hours to do like a 10-minute video.
And that's sometimes, like, say for example, that video that we was talking about, it's currently 1 minute 9 seconds long, and I've still not finished it.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
crazy. And I know CJ, he uses iMovie. See, like editing, I'd love, why stupid got these like from my fish tank lights going across the screen here. But CJ, he does all his editing with iMovie, and I was messaging him the other day, excuse me, and he said it took him 4.5 hours on his phone to edit one 10-minute video. That is just ridiculous.
I don't know how CJ does it, because I've tried to edit on a phone, because that's like the holy grail. Because if like obviously when I'm at work or something like that, I could just edit a video at work, if it's on the phone. But doing all this with your finger and all that lot, it's so frustrating. I can't do it. Can't do it at all.
Lisa Aqua Love 333, who is on all the live streams, says that she needs to grow some nads. Laugh out loud. She's too shy. Well, Lisa, if that's your real picture, then all you have to do is get on camera, because you have some killer eyes, girl. Those are some of the bluest eyes I've ever seen. And let me tell you, the majority of the fish keeping world are fat, bald, lazy men that would flock to your channel just to look at those eyes.
This guy right here, everything that Mike's just said. Fat, bald, lazy. Hell yeah.
And then there's me, of course.
Of course.
Bearded hermit, doesn't like to leave his house.
Ever. Ever.
Yeah, we might have to do like some sort of vote for the aquatic experience this year. Greg, I don't know what Michael's take is. Greg wants to leave a day early, even though it only takes us 3 hours to get there, and spend a whole bunch of time there. Me, I'm like, let's just spend the time with Michael here. We can relax at the house, have a nice dinner, put your feet up next to a fire and chill out. And then we'll just wake up in the morning and we'll drive there and set up, and then we'll do all that stuff. But
no, I want to
it'll come to a vote.
I want to go a day before, because reefing with O, who's in here at the moment, Dave's reefing addiction, who's in here at the moment. I want to meet up with these guys. I want to see New York without Uncle Greg telling me that I need to hurry up.
Yeah, but you got to remember, if we go a day early, that's Wednesday. Like, people are working.
Yeah. So
Dave says she had me at hello with those baby blues. Yes, Lisa Aqua Love 33333. She does have gorgeous eyes.
What does that mean from JH? Oh, by the way, this is what I'm talking about. Well, this is what Mike was talking about. So, these fuzzy, weird lines that you can see on the camera at the moment, this is what I'm currently doing with like the colors of the video. So like these basic lines represent the colors within the video. So, you know, just trying to make sure that everything matches. Like you can see a bit of a difference there. So it jumps up, so the brightness and stuff is a little bit off.
Oh, I couldn't
So
even deal with that.
so basically it's like the same section of the video but a different camera angle. So when the camera angle changes, the color changes, and obviously it needs to match that. You know, it needs to be the same because
It looks like you're reaching out to extraterrestrial beings with some sort of microphone. I missed it. Put your name in the thread. I need to call you by your regular
He's
name.
called Joseph.
Oh, Joseph. All right, Joey or Joseph, whatever you prefer. Joe says Joey was kind of busting you know what in that interview. Yeah. Well, when you're the king and you're on top, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do. But I think it took a while, but it was weird. The interview lasted, and then we were like, all right, we're going to stop this interview. And he's like, you guys want to keep going? And then he kind of opened up, and it kind of got relaxed, a little bit more relaxed. Rico came on and asked a few questions. It was pretty good. You know, I did ask him to share it. I said, hey, can you share your the interview? Because if he shares it, then a ton of people are going to view it and maybe think it's really cool, because I thought it was a great interview. But he didn't share it. Who knows? You know, Joey can do whatever he wants. He's the king, right? Everybody knows it. He can be awesome. He can be a dick. It doesn't matter. It is what it is.
Oh yeah, that's the point as well. Reefing with O, he works from home. He's home worker for now anyway. So when we get there, boom, he's definitely around. And you're not gonna.
O works from home,
Yeah.
and Dave must be
Dave's
secret
like,
millionaire because he's on Rico's live stream nonstop and apparently doesn't work.
it's because he's old. He's like he's way beyond retirement age now. Have that, Dave. I'm only messing.
No, that's a ball busting for Dave's reefer addiction right there. I can imagine Joey is a lot of fun. He said at the very end of the interview he likes to party, and although I don't like to leave my house, I do like to party.
I've got itchy knee.
Shannon B says, I live in Massachusetts as well, but I'm just starting out in the hobby. Where do you buy your plants, Mass? I do not, and still have not found a store anywhere in like a 100-mile radius that sells quality plants that you can walk into the store and buy plants. I get plants from Planted Aquarium Central out in Arizona. I've gotten plants from Hans Aquatics, who's in Massachusetts. And I'm going to get some plants from H2O Plants, Justin, who's also a YouTuber.
Have you not got any from Justin yet?
No, I keep throwing a hint out that he needs to send me a crinum. I even dropped him a $50 super chat the other day and said, hint, hint, I need a crinum. And I know crinums don't cost $50, but I love to, for some reason, I hate asking for a super chat because I don't know who likes to ask for the super chat, but I love, it's just something about giving the super chat. I love to drop the super chat in there. It doesn't matter if it's you or Justin or whoever's doing a live stream. Like, I feel it's
a warm and fuzzy feeling.
It's a warm and fuzzy feeling. You know, you give somebody a gift. I'm a gift giver. It makes me feel good to give. I love giving. Greg probably hates it because I'm always giving away my aquarium boxes and shit and all sorts of stuff. And he busted my chops the other day. What's this Google super chat for $50? I was like, oops, that was the company card. My bad.
You don't mess about with my Aquarium Box money when Greg's around.
Oh,
we've learned that mistake.
Well, what I did learn was to not use the company card for super chats during tax season. So like the middle of the summer, no problem. During tax season, he'll recognize it real quick.
Yeah, that's it. You just got to know the way around things with Uncle Greg.
Yeah, usually it involves anything that's a new idea or cake and donuts. And then he's good.
Yeah.
If he starts to get concerned about something, you're like, "Hey, Greg, look at this cake Sarah just made. You want some?"
Where is it?
Done.
Oh, his power still out, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't heard from him in a while. Greg is hard at work. Well, I can't tell you what he's actually making because it's going in my aquarium box this month. But let's just say he has thousands, literally tens of thousands of feet of something, and he's working with that.
There you go. Very cryptic.
Dave Guile says, yep, I've got a crinum and jungle val coming from H2O plants. Well, let us know how the crinum comes out. Crinum calamostratum is one of my favorite plants. It probably sounds foreign to a lot of people because, like, you know, everybody's like, I like Anubias and Java Fern and jungle
How
val.
do you
But
spell it?
Crinum, crinum, just like it sounds.
Calamostratum.
Calamostratum. Now there is several types of crinum. The calamostratum is my favorite because it has a long, thin. I wouldn't say broad, but they're very strong, and it's twisted like a Twizzler.
Looks like
And
bubble algae. It looks like bubble algae.
crinum calamostratum.
Yeah, it
Are
looks
you
a bit
looking up?
like. Yeah, it looks a bit like. I've got some red grape algae in there. It look. Yeah, it looks like a bit like, you know, it's got bubbles on it from this picture, but I know what you mean. It's not bubbles, but it looks like it a bit.
Harish,
No, it looks like lettuce.
romaine lettuce.
Yeah, that's it.
There's two types. There's crinum natans, which is very broad. It's a very thick crinum, and there's crinum calamostratum, which is super thin, like a toothpick.
It says crinum calamostratum. There you go. Shared the screen.
Oh yeah, that's gorgeous.
Is that the
Look
one?
at that plant. Yeah, my plan is to like really lawn mow this entire tank behind me and get some crinum in there to kind of accent everything, because it's just right now the tank is going crazy and I like it and I'm leaving it that way, but pretty soon I'm taking the axe to most of this stuff. I was gonna give it to my LFS, but they just went out of business. Two local fish stores in Massachusetts went out of business this week. Very sad. Everybody's buying stuff online. This is an internet-driven world, and I can see it day by day. There's really not a lot of places to go and walk around and look at things that you want to buy. You just see a picture now and you buy it online, and it comes the next day, and you're happy with it.
That's it.
And if it dies, you get too lazy to take a picture and send it back and ask for a refund and this and that. It's like, whatever.
Alex has just hit the super chat.
I have not seen it. Where is that?
You might not have scrolled down far enough yet. Alex has said, "Don't let Uncle Greg get you down. Tell him I will get some Patillos, chocolate cake, and Italian beef next time you guys are in Chicagoland."
There's Alex's $5 super chat. Thanks, brother. Alex, super, like, he just hung around the booth and talked to us for the whole week. He was just a really cool kid, cool guy. I was like, who the hell is this guy? He's just like hanging around talking to us. I've never met him. I didn't know his YouTube channel. As soon as everybody left, he stayed around and helped the three of us break down the entire booth. He stayed the whole time. Even he was like, "Hey, I'll just hang around and watch the stuff while you guys go back and forth." It was really awesome. Then as soon as I got to a phone,
that's when he rubbed us blind.
Yes, he took all the money. I thought Greg did it, but it was Alex. No, I'm just kidding. Then when I got home, I looked up Alex's channel. He has the most look. I forget what the name of the video is that he has, but it shows his like a time lapse of his whole setup. He's got like 1 trillion gallons of salt water, and the amount of work and stuff that went into building his tanks is unbelievable. You have to watch this video. I'm not super master of having multiple screens up and actually looking, or I would go grab the link, but it is amazing. Alex, if you're listening, post that video of the sped up version of you building your whole thing.
Alpha Aquariums just in a super chat, but I just want to say hello to Kurt Scoville. He's
Kurt's
my
in the
man.
house?
Kurt's in the house, my main man. This is the guy. This is the guy that made my American trip what
Mr.
it
Cheetos?
was. Mr. Cheetos. He gave me some Cheetos. He gave me the jalapeno Cheetos and the Oreos, which I actually left in your house, and the M&Ms, which I left in your house as well.
Yeah, those were all gone instantly. Where's Kurt? I don't even see his. Well, how
It's
far up is he?
two below Alex's super chat.
Oh, there's Kurt. What's up? Yeah, me and Kurt, we just recently were messaging on Facebook. He was showing me his awesome ass tank. As soon as I got my Kessels, he messaged me.
Alpha Aquariums also hit the super chat. Alpha Aquarium, I've got a question for you. By the way, he said, let's get this super chat ball rolling. Can I ask you a question, Alpha Aquarium? Do you, by any chance, have an iPhone? Or have you just used that super chat function on an Apple product? Let me know. I'm interested.
I have an iPhone, and I hit the super chat on, who did I do? Justin. I think it was Justin's live stream, and it worked fine. Hit the super chat button, boom, iPhone, boom, super chat went right through.
Yeah, but Alpha Aquarium, yes, I thought so. Do you know why? Because have a look, right? Alex G's done a super chat for $5, bang on, yeah. Alpha Aquarium's done a super chat for $4.99. I swear to God, Apple are skimming off the top.
They're skimming a penny every time.
Every time. I think so, because everybody that did the super chat on my stream earlier on, everybody that was doing it from an Apple product, it was always at like 99. It was never like 00. So I reckon Apple are skimming a bit off the top.
Dave says Apple's super chat end in 99. Dave, Google, whatchamacallit? Google Hangout me or what up? Message me your email address and I can send you the link to get into the chat if you want.
No way, Dave's even a moderator in this stream. Bloody hell, you get everywhere, you.
I just gave Dave a wrench before. So it was interesting, right? Dave's always on Rico Super Chat, and I've never met Dave, but I love to bust his balls because he's from New York, so he's probably used to getting his balls busted. And I feel like I can just talk to Dave like that. So I bust his chops all the time. Never met the guy ever, but I'm assuming we're gonna get along just fine.
Oh, you
And
will,
then
because Dave's awesome.
Rico,
1 second before you carry on, what was that video from Alex? Some time lapse or something? Because I can put it on my screen.
it was just a time lapse of Alex's whole aquarium setup. I don't know.
Alex, let me know what the title is of that video, and I'll share it.
So
Alex G's Aquarium 1,600 journey.
Dave was on Rico's, I think it was today anyway. Rico was doing something. He's like, hey, I got to go do something. And there ended up being someone was about to start some YouTube beef or, I don't even know what, just some drama. And Dave was like, hey, you know what? If you got something to talk about, I'm pretty sure Rico would not appreciate what's going on, and if he was here, he'd want both of you on the live stream right now to hash it out. And it was just the way he handled it, like super calmly and just like whatever. I was like, all right, the second I get home, I got to give Dave a wrench instantly. Lisa Aqua says, Dave,
live stream.
Tina needs you at Mass. Oh, Tina has anxiety. She's on all the live streams too. Hopefully you get that.
I love Tina. Tina's awesome.
Yeah, Tina is on all the live streams. Hopefully this link works for Dave. I always do this.
You can give Dave any link you want, and he'll work it out.
Yeah, he'll work it out.
He's the only one that knows how to flip and do the links. Because I don't know how to do it.
I'm pretty sure I just copied it. All right, Dave. Dave, I just sent it to your email. Let me know.
Is this that video, Mike? Oops.
Yeah, this is the video from Alex. I absolutely love this video. Anybody who thinks they put a lot of work into their tank that's like just on like a stand, watch this video. It is absolutely amazing. I love it.
Plywood aquariums in a saltwater aquarium as well.
Billy
Crazy.
Pipes is in the house. He bought a generator yesterday and lost power this morning, so that's good. Alex says, yeah, that's the one.
Right.
Niz the one, or Nista, I don't know how you want to pronounce that, is she tries to catch all the live streams. We got 57 people watching. That's awesome. I am not as popular. While I might have subs, Dave's in the. All right, see, it worked for Dave. How come I work for it? What's up, Dave?
What's up? What do you want to do? Put it in the chat?
No, I don't want to put it in the
Oh.
chat. I did the exact same thing that I just did for you to my buddy, the special guest who was supposed to be on. I did exactly what I just did for you. I sent him the email and he said, oh, it's taking me to Hangouts, but nothing's happening or it's not working.
Oh, okay.
But I just did it for you and it seems to be working fine.
Yeah, I have to copy that bit.ly, but copy link address when I copy it. And then that's what works in Hangouts. So when we throw it out in the chat on Rico's, that first time it's bit.ly, a lot of people can't use it. But once a mod copies it as text, then it becomes a YouTube redirect or something, and then it works. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I just know what we have to do to get it working. So,
all right. Yeah. That's
weird. I could send you back what I'm using to get in, and maybe you could send that to your special guest.
I will. So now that I have your email,
I can just send you one back. But I think Tina has a problem with her leaking bulkhead. So if somebody wants to walk her through tightening that, I don't know. Maybe Michael could help her.
Mike, you know anything about bulkheads? I don't have a sump, so I can't answer this question.
Right.
Is it still leaking, Tina?
It is Rico, Mr. Livestream himself.
Oh, we gotta get him in here. So let me.
I can't believe you literally built everything. I've not seen this video.
It is amazing. Like I watched it 3 or 4 times.
But like, I didn't even realize that he actually physically built the skimmer and everything else.
Rico says this is Joey. I wonder if Joey's messaging from. I know they're together. Oh yeah, Joey took Rico's phone. Fancy Joe. I just called you a dick, Joey. Perfect timing. The king's on.
I can't believe you even built the bloody pinwheels for your skip, mate. You're flipping. Look at you. I didn't even realize that you'd done all that.
I don't even know if that link will happen, but I just sent you one back.
So it looks like
if you want to watch the rest, go to Alex Cheese Aquariums.
Mr. King, Joey, took Rico's phone and he's on. Yeah, I did call you a dick, but I also called you awesome at the same time. So it's kind of like it was like a love-hate. I'm just busting, brother.
You called me a dick. He's funny.
Harish Karunakaran, I've butchered his name several times, says, Joey is a god. What are you saying, dog? Wow. So for this specific chat, I'll be calling Joey Rico Joey because Joey has Rico's phone. Joey, you can now rest easy for the weekend. You have just been called a god by Harish Karunakaran. So congratulations for that. No, Joey, we were talking about the live stream interview before, and some people had some stuff to say, and all I said was, hey, when you're on top, you can do whatever you want. And I actually liked the last half of the interview better than the first half because it was just very chill, very relaxed. That part was awesome. Alex says, I'm glad Joey found his missing ray. That's good. Caution, Mike, he's been drinking. Me or Joey? Both of us have clearly been drinking.
Huh.
I have a high tolerance for Bud Light, though. I can drink about 74 of them before I start to slur my words.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
And
go
that,
through.
that is literally no exaggeration either.
You've seen it,
Honestly,
Michael?
I've seen it. When we was in Chicago when we was bowling, it was like you could just slowly but surely see him deteriorating. But he was nailing those bears and flipping. You could tell as his aim started to go off. I thought, this is me now. I'm going to win a game.
You did win that game too.
Yeah, I did. Made sure, just kept feeding you up on beer. Oh,
Yeah.
that bird did.
Dave's an old school guy like us, I'm assuming. And when we walked into that bowling alley, Dave, the pool hall where we wanted to play pool was empty, and there was all kids playing on computers, like having like a gaming challenge. And like all the foosball tables were stacked in the corner, all the pool tables were empty. I'm like, what? Did I just enter the Twilight Zone? What the hell's going on here?
That bring a tear to my eye. These kids
Oh my
are ruining the world.
It was pathetic. I walked to the bar and I said, I'll take 4 Bud Lights and I need a rack of balls. And the guy had no clue what I was talking about. I was like, when was the last time someone played pool in this place?
Right. Do you even have a stick that's straight?
Yeah, they were all a little crooked, but we had a blast. That was one of the best times of the whole trip. I thought was awesome.
Yeah, I loved it. It was good. Especially watching Greg's flipping kingpin style when he was bowling. He wasn't putting his fingers in the holes, was he, as the ball? He was just with his big flipping hands, his finger. He was just like getting the ball like that, put it on in his forearm and just launching it down the alley. And you're like, the freaking hell are you doing? And then every time, strike every time. We even started making friends with the people in the next aisle, didn't we? That man and woman.
Oh yeah, they were having a blast talking to us. That was awesome.
Yeah, they was loving it. They didn't want us to go. Or maybe they did, and we were just forcing ourselves on it.
Zach's Tank's Crazy Aquarium guy says, hello guys. I think Joey likes that dudes are normal to him. Yes. One thing Joey knows about me via all the messages we've sent over the past couple, 1 or 2 years, I don't beat around the bush and I tell it like it is, and I don't treat him as he's any different than a normal human being, which I think he enjoys for the most part. But yeah, I don't beat around the bush with Joey. We kind of have a love-hate relationship, but he always ends the conversation with, I've always liked you, Mike. So you got that. Adventures in Aquarium says, I'm a masshole living in Kentucky, so it's all bourbon whiskey. I can't touch that. No way. Tina and Lisa are still talking about Tina's problems.
Yeah, I'm typing it out.
I'm going to ask Michael a question and let him take it away so I can go hit the men's room real quick as he's slugging waters. You said you left Black Panther because there was too many kids.
Yes.
Did you ever go back to watch it, or you didn't not finish?
Nah, I've not been back. I've
Wow.
not been back. Basically, like
no spoiler.
No, I've not seen it. I've not seen it, so nobody else talk about it. But no, what it is I'm a massive Marvel fan. Massive Marvel fan. I've just sent Mike actually one of my favorite Marvel videos. Oh, he's gone now. He don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I'm a massive Marvel fan, right? And Black Panther is just getting, rave reviews. So I thought, right. And my wife said, I've got a surprise for you. And this is like afternoon time. We're going watching Black Panther. So I was like, yes. But it was school holidays as well. And we was watching it in the afternoon. I walked into the cinema and it was kids everywhere. And I thought, I'm not watching this film in a place that is just full of kids throwing popcorn around, screaming, shouting, and ruining the film. So I just went like, no. And I walked out. Just walked out and went, nope, not watching it. I'll watch it later. I'll watch it at another time when there's just not loads of kids. So I've still not watched it yet. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to catching it at some point, but just not seeing it yet. Excuse me. Tina, with this bulkhead situation, have you got the gaskets in place correctly and stuff like that? Basically, by I mean gaskets, I mean little rubber things. that go in between the screw, because that's going to going to give you your seal, because the screw itself won't really hold water. So just make sure you got your rubber gasket in the right place and stuff like that.
We went over it earlier.
All right.
I was working with it earlier, but I didn't mention that the gasket sometimes has a ribbed side that needs to go against the glass. It'll have 2 or 3 rings on one side, raised little rings. And also, if you made it too tight, you could have cracked it, and you won't even know unless you take it apart and try to flex it. If you cracked it, game over.
I can't. I'm not even going to bother trying because I can't see it. I can't. There's not even any point in me guessing. You'd have to just like, if I could see it, I could say, put this here, put that there, do this, do that. But because I can't see it, I'll just be guessing, and then I might cause you more issues than you're actually facing. So just try wet side. Have I got my gasket on the wet side?
I have a whole lot of plumbing to do on this new 135 with the sump, and I've never had a sump, so Uncle Greg is hopefully going to hook me up and get this thing plumbed right. I love the way CJ hooked his sump up. I'd love to be able to do that, but
that's how mine is.
Just a man with a cell phone.
CJ copied my self-cleaning sump. I believe that's it. What I was going to say, I was just talking then about Black Panther, and I was just saying like how I've just sent you like one of my favorite Marvel films ever, or Marvel clips.
Yeah, I also shared that with quite a few people who love the Hulk at work today. And oh, look at this! Dustin's fish tank showed up and say, "Pat suck." Well, Dustin, the Browns always suck. So 5 rings, baby. Eat it.
I'm an honorary.
Yeah, I was looking at that driving to work. I was like, "What the hell is this? Why'd he send it? Oh snap!"
My cousin sent it me, and I was like, because he knows how much of a Marvel fan I am, and you just I'm not going to say anything because it's thinking, but when you see it and you just see Hulk's face, it's like, this is funny.
I was wondering what was going to happen to that, and yeah, it was well worth the 7.5 seconds of view time.
Hey, Dustin's fish tanks. Is that the guy that was at Aquatic Experience?
Yeah,
Dustin. He's one of the godfathers of YouTube. God damn it.
Yeah, he was running around Palooza like a crazy guy too. He was just like always on top speed.
Right.
Yeah, Dustin's got some energy, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I don't really follow freshwater side. Like I've seen a few videos and things, but I didn't know whether it was the same person.
Yeah,
Dustin has just got a very large new greenhouse that I'd love to grow some stuff in. Plants, of course.
Yeah, but you're only allowed 12, so there's no point in having a greenhouse.
I don't know about his state. I don't know if he's just popped in real quick, but if Dustin wants the link, I'll email it to you. You can obviously come on and shoot the shit.
To be honest, I did actually watch one of his videos the other day about some an inline heater. I don't even know how I ended up falling on that video, but I watched it. But yeah, talking about like this black box, which was a heater, and how diverting the water and stuff. I can't remember, but yeah. So I don't even know what I was watching it for. But I watched it. So must have entertained me.
Can't believe Michael's still up. He was saying 2 hours ago, "Oh, I'm going to go to bed. I'll try and just start watching Mass Aquariums live stream."
I've got to show love for my brother though, ain't I?
Yeah. Yep. Mike he's always up for staying up until at least 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
I am running on fumes now though, to be fair.
So Dave, this email you sent me, which one am I clicking on to copy? The short one or the first one?
Damn, I sent you 2. I don't even know what I sent you. Yeah, the longer one.
All right, I gotcha.
The longer one's right out of my toolbar. So whoever you're sending it to, if they're on a laptop, that'll work.
Oh, I won't. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, I gotcha.
It might not work on a mobile.
All right. Well, we'll send it over to Mr. Old Man Dustin's fish tanks,
Right.
who I cannot believe is up. I mean, it's 10 o'clock. He's usually in bed by 7:30, and if he wants to come in and chat, he's more than welcome.
He runs hard all day long. He probably gets tired before you do.
I never get tired. I'm up till like Michael. I mean, I can't believe it's, what is it? Let's see. It's literally 3 o'clock in the morning in the UK, and he's still up.
My tank's out though.
Yeah,
Last time I talked to
change the
Aaron's
lighting schedule.
Aquarium, he was stuck in traffic. Alex, I'm either stuck in traffic or I'm in this seat. There's only two places where I am.
Oh yeah, but that last time you were stuck, there was a fatal accident and it wasn't going nowhere.
No, so no, oh god, what was it? I ended up doing like 14, 15 hour shift that day. Wasn't that good day though, because I was on hourly rate, so can't complain.
Paid some bills on that one.
Oh yeah. Excuse me. Do you know? I keep thinking. I keep thinking. Oh, Ryan McCullum. I always think he's from the UK, but he's not. Is he? He's from Mass. So I'm like, what are you still doing up? But he's from Mass, so that's why.
Oh, good. Everybody's helping her.
Yeah, Ryan is from Mass. Where are you from, Ryan? Type it in. Where in Mass are you from? He said he didn't have power today, too.
Might be closer to Greg then, because Greg's not had power ever, has he?
Greg has not had power for a long time. He's been literally cutting thousands of feet of what I cannot tell you under candlelight.
Wow.
What's the Coral Life HOB protein skimmer, Mike? I don't know Coral Life.
I don't really have any Coral Life products either. I'm assuming it's just like that sea skimmer from Marineland.
Yeah, they tend to be on the inexpensive side. Take that for what it's worth.
I got to tell you, Fluval, all right, so let me just start off by saying, before Fluval was a sponsor of mine, I've always used their canister filters, their heaters, their hang-on back. Well, since they bought AquaClear, loved them. I continue to use them. So since then, they are a sponsor of mine. They've sponsored quite a bit of stuff. Not only my new Fluval Evo. Oh, he's from Weymouth. Oh, that's not too bad. Which is absolutely gorgeous. I love the way it looks. I love everything about it. The protein skimmer, I cannot stand. It's absolutely pointless in a nano tank when you're just doing water changes every week anyway. And to dial it in is absolutely ridiculous. It is not user-friendly at all. So anybody who's got an Evo that's going to go get that nano protein skimmer or put in the first chamber, just save your money. Don't go buy it. It's pointless. You have a small tank. The only way you're getting nutrients out of that tank anyway is doing a water change. So just forget about it.
I agree. And if you have to stick your hand in that tank for some reason and you don't shut that skimmer off, you just filled the cup.
Oh yeah. I had it running for 3 weeks. I couldn't eat. One day it was skimming. The next day it was filled with water. It was so frustrating. If it wasn't filled with water, when I took it out of the tank, I would have hucked it against the wall.
Yeah, I got one on the shelf from Coral Life. In the back, it's supposed to go in the back of their BioCube, which is the only product I really like by them is the BioCube.
Coral Life. Fluval?
No, Coral Life.
Fluval's, Coral Life.
Fluval's rock solid as far as I'm in my book.
I absolutely love their filters. I love so they have a lot of people talk about heaters all the time on Rico's live chats. Their M series heater, which is all chrome, the light that comes on is like a real light blue. It's not that annoying red light or orange light.
Right.
And the friggin' thing blends into any tank. You never even know it's there. I love their heaters, and I've never ever had one fail, ever.
I really like the Fluval Flex. I think the Fluval Flex is cool because there's so many bow-fronted tanks out there, but not that way. Normally it bows from left to right, and you get that bow in the middle.
Yeah. Yep.
But they bow from top to bottom, and I think it looks cool, especially with the stands. So as it bows over, and then as it comes back into the tank, the stand then also sort of like comes in and then goes around, and it's like very sort of like S-shaped, snake-like, and I think it looks, yeah.
You like the lines, Michael?
I love the lines. You got to follow the lines. You got to love the curves. You know, gives you a little twingle.
Yeah, don't they put that little dot matrix on top of the glass too? It makes it kind of hides the waterline.
I don't get that. You know, that's like something that you put on like a, you know, like a Japanese racer or something on the top of the windscreen. But you know, you can take it off if you want to.
They run a little nano planted tank at my LFS in one of those, and it looks legit, I'll tell you. And I don't even use the word legit.
But yeah, I like the Fluval Flex. I think once I've got this room sorted and I start adding more tanks, because I've got a couple of tanks now, I think a Fluval Flex is definitely one that I want to add to the arsenal.
Yep.
Dave, just called you Uncle Dave, by the way.
Yeah, I know where he lives.
Literally.
I'm not going to do anything about it because he's 6'5", but I know where he lives.
See, I love the FX6. I love the FX6, and I was talking about this earlier on. I love the FX6, but I hate having to take the friggin' lid off. I hate taking the lid off the FX6. It's like all those screws, and then, you know, you pop it off and you've not screwed it far enough. Sometimes you can snap an arm, and it used to drive me insane when I used to have an FX6. I wish it was just clips, you know, just clip it off, take the lid off, do what I need to do, clip it back on. So there's a bit of advice for you, Fluval. Love the FX6, fantastic filter, hate the screws.
The Hare Krishna is what I'm going to call him right now. No, that's rude. Harish Karunakaran.
Just call him Harish.
Harish says he can't stand the Evo. Now, I love the Evo. Now, while the 3 chambers are not set up properly, in my opinion, there is a nice way to make it work real well and get nice filtration and take out all the things you need to take out utilizing poly filter pads, filter floss, and ChemiPure, and get your media in there, and it's very clean and it's very user friendly, and I have a video coming out on that soon, and I can't wait to share that with you. But I think that might change your stance on the Evo. Tank is gorgeous looking tank.
Where does Russell live? Russell Garcia. He said he's been without power since 4:30.
He must be on gotta be on the East Coast, Northeast.
Yeah. Did Rico get straightened out yet? Did his power come back on?
Did Rico lose power?
Yeah, that's the stream dropped.
He came on my stream before. It was basically his son was messing about or something, and it tripped a breaker. So it wasn't.
Oh, okay. It wasn't storm related. Okay.
No,
yeah, because wasn't he like 5 hours away from his house at that point?
Yeah, he started the live stream at home, and then he joined it on his mobile, so we'd have company for the ride. And then it just dropped out, and I was like, "Oh God, did his power drop out?"
Yeah, he came on my stream and told us that it was just it wasn't anything major. It was just a breaker trip to something like that.
Oh, that's good.
So it's all good, yeah, because everyone was panicking. Everyone was like, "Have you heard about Rico? Have you heard about Rico? Do you know what's going on?" I went, I don't. And then he came on, so it was like, Rico, please let us know what's going on. Because I was like, you know, Rico's tank is stunning. You know, it's stunning tank. And for that to go down the pan, I'd be heartbroken. And it's not even my tank, you know what I mean? So even I was like, Rico, please get on the stream. Let us know what's going on. And he went, yeah, it's just a breaker. So I was like, oh,
well, Rico must have a backup for that tank. I mean, there's no way you can have that many thousands of dollars invested in a tank and not have a backup.
It's got an Apex.
Hey, what's the point? Apex can't even call you and tell you it's broke when power goes out.
All right.
There's my argument for Apex. It's good when you travel. Why?
Alex G says battery operated air pumps, #1 easy defense against power outage that anyone can deploy with ease. Yes, I have 3 for all. I always have a battery powered air pump for any amount of tanks. So right now I have 3 tanks. I have 3 air pumps. I have 3 moving blankets because where I live, if it's winter, it's going to get cold. And those are the main 2 things I do if the power goes out is drop an air stone and cover the tank in a moving blanket to try and keep the heat in there as best as you can.
Hey, Tina, if it was holding for a couple hours, you probably put cold water in there. And then once it warmed up, the bulkhead stretched out a little bit, expanded because it got warm. So that's probably why it's leaking now. And it probably just needs 2 more grunts on that bulkhead, a little tighter twist. And I know it's hard to get to, but they do sell some crazy looking wrenches in the plumbing department for going under sinks.
There you go. See? You don't need me.
Harish says, but Mass, I think you should be proud of all your tanks, but you're 40. How does it defy the system? It kills the basic principles, but it looks amazing. Not sure I understand that. So thank you. Or fuck you. I'm not sure which one I should say.
No, he's just basically saying because
the hidden
from what I got from that, with what it looks like and what a thingy is, and what you do to it, you would expect you to do a lot more to it to achieve what you've got, which I think that's what he meant.
Right.
But yeah, it's like obviously I've had the ability to actually see the thing in the flesh, and it is a beautiful tank. It was better when the Hystrix was on, in my opinion.
On the what?
The Hystrix bird's nest.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I have 2 40s. I have a 40 breeder behind me, and I have a 40 breeder downstairs.
I'm talking about the salt. I don't know what he's talking about.
I pulled that bird's nest. Yep. And I actually saved a beautiful, beautiful frag that is growing unbelievably quick. So I would suspect that in the next 6 to 8 months, that bird's nest that you always saw will be right back to where it was originally.
Good. I like that.
But since I pulled the bird's nest, and I also pulled my GFO, the tank has been running amazing. And I don't know if you guys, you and Dave are salties, if pulling that GFO, if I was stripping too many nutrients, that it just wasn't working for the tank or whatever. But since I pulled the GFO, and now I'm really, all that's in that thing is ChemiPure and filter floss.
Yeah.
And it's for almost 2 months now. It looks amazing. Not a single problem.
Yeah, maybe because you don't test, do you? So, you don't know what's happening.
Right.
So maybe the GFO was, a bit greedy and did take out a little bit more than what you needed, because you do need phosphates, you do need nitrates for your corals to feed on. Mm-hmm. And obviously if it's not there, then it's not always a good thing to not have nitrates and phosphates. You do actually need some. So you might have just been stripping out too much, and since removing it, the corals are like, oh, this is amazing, look at all this food. Yep. So maybe it's down to that.
Yeah, GFO is very good at what it does, and a little goes a long way.
Yeah, it is very aggressive. Like I actually use lanthanum chloride to remove phosphates from my system. It's just easier for me. Mm-hmm. And there's no extra bits of equipment. I don't need a reactor, anything like that. I can just get a little bit of liquid liquid lanthanum chloride, throw it in the sump, bish bash bosh. Not long later, my phosphates are down. So I just keep on top of mine with that. And then obviously I've got a refugium as well to help with nitrates and stuff.
Yeah.
I had a nice breeder basket filled with Chaeto in it that, while it helped the tank, I think it still was like a breeding ground for to collect detritus, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
It just collected too much crap.
Yeah, it almost
was harming more than helping.
I don't mind when it collects, because it seems to grow more pods in it to eat it when it gets a lot of detritus caught in it. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a natural filter floss. It's self-cleaning filter floss. Don't let CJ hear that.
Yeah. I wish it didn't need light, because I would replace the filter floss with the Chaeto. It's like a Brillo pad.
Yeah, it's pretty coarse, but it works well for me.
I've just got some mangroves, not for the reasons of nutrient reduction, just because they look cool.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people tend to get mangroves for nutrient reduction, and I wouldn't suggest it because it's not very good at removing nutrients. It's a very slow grower. It's a very slow burner. So, you know, it's not going to keep up most of the time with the amount of nutrients being produced. But they do look nice. They really do. And they get big, and, you know, when the root structures come out and all that, they look really cool. But yeah, no, definitely not for nutrient reduction. Chaeto, Caulerpa. Caulerpa I found, and this is me personally, I found to be miles better than Chaeto. Miles better than Chaeto at removing nutrients. But there is a trade-off, because if it goes sexual, whatever it took out, it'll put back. But I've got a very small leaf Caulerpa, and even though every now and then it does go sexual, it's nothing, you know, there's no big issue, there's no big problem, and I don't see any issues with the tank. But granted, my tank is a big tank, so, you know, little minor things in here I won't notice, but the same size of issue in a smaller tank you may do. But yeah, I found Caulerpa to be very aggressive at stripping nutrients, and, you know, great at its job. I've never been able to do very well with Chaeto. Chaeto's never been very good at stripping nutrients for me.
I found just the opposite. At first, the Caulerpa did well, but then the Chaeto grew over and covered it over, kind of blocked the light from it. So they fought for a while, but now the Chaeto won.
Right.
The Caulerpa just turned white, put it all back in the system. I had about 24 hours of white water, and then it went away.
Harish is now asking the three of us what kind of post-high school education we've had, if any. Which is probably one of the weirdest questions I've ever had on a fish aquarium live stream or anything, actually.
I'll start. I have a PhD. It's a Passaic High diploma, and that's it.
I did go to college, 4 years of college. I have a bachelor's in geology and a minor in environmental science. What do you think about that, Harish?
And I left school before it finished.
Oh, you're a hooligan, huh?
Yeah, I left with nothing. So there you go.
I used to rollerblade around campus, high as a mofo, selling hemp necklaces with glass beads for $5 a pop.
I can picture Mike just full on hippie on his rollerblades, like, flying around like that.
Oh man, I had long hair. I had the works. Still had the Patriots hat though. Not this exact one, but I've had a Patriots hat probably since I was 2. He wants to know, because how did it lead us to our fish keeping or influence our hobby? Why don't you go first, Dave?
Oh, I've always had a fish tank since I was grammar school, and they just got bigger, and the fish got bigger, and then one day I tried saltwater, and I just love it. I just love all the microfauna in a saltwater aquarium, you know, things I never noticed in a freshwater aquarium. So they just keep getting bigger.
I was pretty much the same. My dad got me a fish tank when I was little, 6 or 8 years old. I had fish tanks all through school. And then when I got married and moved in, I stopped fish tanks for a little while. My wife's a nurse and she works nights, and I was like, man, I need something to do because I can't leave the house because I got kids. Started back up after like a 6 or 7 year hiatus. And then this bell end over here, Michael Aaron's got me into saltwater, and now I spend a little too much time on saltwater because it's very addicting.
And me, had nothing to do with it. I literally started fish keeping when I started YouTube 3 years ago. Before that, I was never a fish keeper. I did have like fish that you got from the fair, the goldfish that you got from the fair when you won a prize. They gave you a goldfish, and that just ended up going in a bowl when I got home, and probably not long later it died. And that was my only experience of fish keeping before 3 years ago. And I started keeping a fish tank. I started documenting my fish tank on YouTube. And 3 years later, this is me with that big bloody thing over there. So that my hobby just came from, I don't even know. I don't know where it came from. I just decided I wanted fish one day. You know, yeah, I just wanted a fish tank, so I got one, and then it's just spiraled from there. To be honest, this has been the longest ever hobby that I've ever stuck with. Because normally I do a hobby, do it for a year or so, and then I give it up and go and do something else. Like I used to be very into motorbikes, you know, every summer and stuff. I used to go out on the motorbike, you know, travel all over on the motorbike, etc. Then I got bored of that, and then I started flying RC helicopters. Started flying remote control helicopters. Got bored of that, and then started fish keeping. So just I think it's just more boredom than anything else, the reason why I'm a fish keeper. And honestly, I've found fish keeping so rewarding. I've learned more about science, more about, you know, like chemicals and, you know, the periodic table and everything since becoming a part of this hobby than I did in school. So yeah, I love this hobby. This is definitely a keeper.
Adventures in Aquarium says, I work in mental health. Aquariums are how I prevent myself from being a service provider to a patient.
That's a fine line. That's a fine line, though. Some of us are a little crazy about our tanks.
O says his son wanted a dog and they got an aquarium. Now he should have gotten a dog, is what he said.
It would have been cheaper.
You gotta walk the
It would
dog,
have been
though.
cheaper.
He says he'd be rich by now if he got a dog.
Yeah. So yeah.
Reef Geek wants to know what we do for a living. I'm a pharmacy ops manager and part-time fish keeper.
There you go.
I'm a truck driver.
I install low voltage wiring for security cameras, security systems, fire alarms, networking.
Right. So Dave works for the CIA. And Michael drives trucks, and I take care of medicine. I'd love to
put us all together in one room. Ooh, what we can do.
Yeah, it's an HBO show right there. Boom.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, Dave. Jeez.
Ryan Chase says, getting ready to start up a 75-gallon. Will it sit adjacent to glass door that gets a bunch of sunlight? Thought about painting the side glass. Yeah, I would paint it or put a cardboard against it and try to keep as much natural light out as you can.
Nope. Nah, sunlight's okay.
He's setting up a planted tank.
Sunlight's okay. What you
Well,
say? You just, all you got to do is utilize the sunlight rather than block it, because if you run your tank lights as you normally would, you know, if you run them 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever a day, then that plus the sunlight, you're going to have issues. But if you utilize the sunlight, then you're going to save yourself on electricity, because you can stick the lights on later on in the day, you know, when you're relaxing and stuff, and you can utilize the sunlight during the day rather than having to pay for artificial lighting. Because at the end of the day, all of these lights that we use, they're all emulating one thing, the sun. So why not use the sun? There's many people out there that utilize the sun. There's a guy in Israel called Eli, and he's got a 30,000 gallon Reef aquarium, which is like, it's like a window in his living space, but the top of the aquarium actually has like an open top, which is like, it's a flat roof building, so the sun pours into his aquarium, and he utilizes the sun for, you know, coral growth and everything else. And then later on in the evening, he has strips of actinic blue bulbs which come on later on in the evening to, you know, to give him that coral pop. But he utilizes the sun rather than, you know, throwing a load of artificial lights over. So you can do that.
Right, but he's setting up a planted tank, and if you, well, I mean, you could utilize the sunlight, but if too much sun, you're gonna, like, the whole thing is gonna be algae-fied to the max. I've done experiments. I've put a 10-gallon tank with some low light plants in front of sunlight and only use the sunlight, and the thing is a complete nightmare within a few weeks.
Right.
Right,
Because
okay.
you're still getting filtered sunlight through windows and tank glass. So,
But isn't that partly down to, because obviously, you know, the algae needs a few things to grow, and part of that is nutrients. So if your nutrient levels are low, you should be okay, right?
It's a little different with plants. They utilize more light than nutrients. And whereas corals, you know, they're getting the nutrients from the water column. Plants have roots, so they're getting their nutrients from the substrate, whether you're planting with dirt, high nutrient substrates, or you're just planting in inert substrate. Like this tank behind me is sand. It has nothing that the plants need. So I use root tabs, which are basically little gel caps that are packed with Osmocote Plus that you get at Home Depot or Lowe's, and it slow releases nutrients that the roots of the plants take in. So now everything they need is in the substrate, and then they need light and they need CO2. Now, if you're blasting them with light that they can't photosynthesize, you don't have enough or whatever, you're just constant, that's when algae just feeds off the light. It's similar to a saltwater tank that, let's say you're just dumping reefroids in every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Fair enough then.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Now it makes sense what he says about the plants, because if you think about our plants, when you fertilize them, you don't put it on the leaves, you put it in the dirt, you know. So
yeah.
feed through the roots, and the plant leaves are really just their solar panels for picking up the light.
Anybody that has
if you throw in, like, you know, super octane fuel in the substrate, you know, and you throw in a load of air into the engine as well, then it's going to go fast in it. So I assume that, you know, same thing there. You know, you're giving a lot of nutrients through the roots with the tabs, and then providing tons of sunlight as well. Then,
right.
You know, you're over fueling, aren't you? So
yep. And I'm sure you can give them too much light, just like a coral. If they don't adapt to it properly, you just burn them up.
But it depends where you're from as well, though, doesn't it? Because, like, I know here, if I put a fish tank in a window here, bloody hell, I'd be lucky if I got sunlight. You know, but obviously, again, if it's like California or something like that, then yeah, keep it away from the window. So I suppose it depends on how much sun you get as well, because maybe you would be able to utilize the sunlight, you know, because if you don't get silly amounts of sun, you could, you know, use it to your advantage. But sometimes it is just simpler just to block the sun out and set your timers for your lights, and off you go.
Right.
It's simpler and it's less stressful for yourself as a fish keeper. Like you don't want to. I mean, sometimes I used to set up a tank and just see what kind of problems I could get, because it's not a display tank, just to mess with it. But there's certain elements to any fish keeper that you want to omit to make it easier on yourself. And in my opinion, natural sunlight is one of those things.
Yeah.
Well, for example, let's say you have your reef tank like next to a window, and your lights are set for a 12-hour schedule from 12 noon to 12 midnight, ramp up and ramp down, so that you can enjoy your tank when you get home. But from in the summer, let's say 6 o'clock in the morning until 9:30 at night, it's already getting all the sunlight. The corals are staying open because they're getting sun, and then you're also giving it another, 3-4 hours of sunlight. That tank is going to be a nightmare, and I don't care where you are, it's going to be a nightmare.
That's why I was saying about utilizing the sunlight, because if you know that you know, the sun's going to come through the thingy at 6, and you know it's going to, it's going to be there for a while or whatever, then you wouldn't have the lights on at all. You wouldn't place the lights on. You'd wait until the evening, for example. So say, for example, you get home from work at 6, kick the lights on then, because you don't want both the lights and the sun going into the tank at the same time, because that is like high octane fuel. That's like you know what I mean? So, but if you do know that you're going to get a lot of sun and everything, use the sun rather than the lights, because you're saving yourself on electricity. You're providing the plants with, or the corals with, the actual sun. We're using artificial suns in there in our aquariums. So same with like water. With the natural seawater side of things, I filled that up with natural seawater, because I feel that there's still potentially things within seawater that we may not know about, or the salts that we buy can't provide, for whatever reason. So that's why I use natural seawater in there, because why imitate something when you can use the real thing? You know what I'm saying?
You're using natural seawater in your fish tank?
That one, yeah, it's full of natural seawater. That one.
That's Do you know where it's collected from, Michael? That would be my big cause to not use it.
It's collected down in I don't know where specifically, but the information that I was given, that it wasn't like somebody just went down to the beach and siphoned it from the edge. It's collected a good few miles out. It's actually collected on a boat, and it's collected miles out in deep areas, and the company that collects it knows like the tides, and they don't go near shipping lanes and stuff like that. And like I said, this tank is 6 months old now. It's not had a single water change, not one. And everything's hunky dory. I bet I don't have any algae issues or anything like that. So, that's
amazing, because there's so many different, like where I'm from, and where Dave's from, the ocean is dark as can be, because it's full of life. It's full of so many things, and that's why it's got that rich, dark, deep blue, deep green. And then when you go down south, and the water is crystal clear, is because it's void of life. It doesn't have anything in it.
Right. And it's different life, because our water's cold generally here. So, it's not what you have in your tank. It's just, there's so many variables, being that the coral reef.
Yeah.
Right. So, Michael, you have
collected in England,
a coral reef that is, you're taking water from the Atlantic that doesn't support coral reefs. So that's kind of interesting in itself.
Right.
Yeah. Well, this water is collected in the UK. This, I think, probably around Cornwall area, where it's nice. Like if you go to Cornwall, Newquay, Devon, that area, the water's like what Mike just said. It's crystal blue. You look into it, it's got an ever so slight thingy, but you can see to the bottom. It's really, really nice, and that's in the UK. So it's collected from them areas, but obviously it's collected out. But this is UK water, so technically our water, our infrastructure is cold water. It's not 26 degrees like it is right now. And it's from what I've been told, Triton, basically, the guy from Triton took water samples from different seas, from different areas, like the Great Barrier Reef, from Bali, from Indonesia, from all of these different places, took water samples and tested them with their ICP, machines. And the variations between the water in different areas was marginal. The water was more or less the same. Obviously, differences in temperatures, potential differences in certain things that the temperature will affect, but the actual nutrients and minerals and all of that lot in the water was the same all over the place.
Okay.
So obviously,
I believe you.
and obviously this has been running for 6 months now, and it started off with natural seawater. Obviously, it gets topped up with RO, but I've not, 6 months, still looks beautiful. Corals are growing, everything's hunky dory. So,
well, you would never have to change the water as long as you're dosing and replenishing what's the corals are stripping.
exactly. Right? Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
That's the idea.
Yeah. So that's the idea. So yeah, so far, like the way I saw natural seawater, because I was originally a natural seawater no guy. Now I'm not putting natural seawater in my tank. I don't want that crap. I don't want that crap in my tank. I don't know what's in it. You know what I mean? But then I thought that my thought process is everything that we do in this hobby is emulating something else. We're trying to copy something else. With our lighting, we're trying to copy the sun. With our water, we're trying to copy the natural seawater. All of these different things. It's like, if we've got the ability to use it, why not use it? So I thought, and also as well, us as human beings, we don't know everything yet. We know quite a lot, but we don't know everything. Everything that we know right now, we think we know everything, but things are being discovered all the time. There's still things in the sea, animals, fish in the sea, still being discovered today, now. So the way I see it, that there's potentially stuff within natural seawater, and this is solely speculation, but my thought process is there's potentially stuff in the sea that we still don't know about yet, and maybe a major factor for corals, you know what I mean, or whatever. Right. Also, as well, salt. There's certain things that just can't go into raw salt. So when we're creating, this RO water, which is void of everything, and then we're putting the salt in to create seawater, who's to say that this $50 bucket of salt can truly provide everything that the sea would normally provide? Correct. So that's why I decided to go with natural seawater.
That's my argument for live rock, because I'm using synthetic salt. So the rock came from the ocean, or at least soaked in it for a while.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael hates live rock.
I hate live rock.
No, I'm a big believer in live rock. I don't think all of it needs to be live rock, but I think a few prime pieces really goes a long way.
I wouldn't mind live rock if I knew where it come from. I would never touch live rock that came from another hobbyist tank. I would never touch live rock that came from an LFS's bin. If I was going to be live rock, I would want the live rock to come from source. I'd want it to come from, the sea,
Fiji or something. Yeah, mine came from Florida, but
either way. But again, like with the saltwater side of things, it was a potential gamble, because I could potentially be bringing in parasites with the water, sure. And that's something that I had to consider. But realistically, with the water, it's only the microscopic organisms that I'm potentially bringing in, parasites and stuff like that. But the way I see it with live rock is it goes that little step further. With live rock is you can also bring in those little parasites with live rock. You can bring in white spot, you can bring in velvet, stuff like that. But then there's the extras. You can bring in flatworm, you can bring in red worms, red bugs. You can bring in, all of the, sure. nudibranchs,
right, the crabs and shrimp,
aptasia, mantis shrimps, all of the stuff that you don't want in your tank, you can be bringing in with live rock. And for me, I'm not willing to take that gamble with live rock. And gotcha. I feel that you can achieve what you need to achieve with dry rock. Life finds a way. You know what I mean? Yeah. Life always finds a way. And when you're bringing in corals and stuff, I just feel that you can be a bit more sterile with how you do it, so that you don't have to worry about crap. You know what I mean?
So the exact words I was looking for, though, when you said sterile, or sterile, as I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you start off with a sterile environment, then you're in control. You can control that then to a point. You can start adding the things that you want to add, rather than putting live rock in and thinking, is this going to be like, I'm going to get some awesome stuff, or am I going to get some crap stuff? You know what I mean? It's a gamble.
See, I feel that it adds some immunity to your system. Whereas think about, you have a child, raise it in your house, becomes 5 years old, send him off to kindergarten. What's the first thing that happens? He gets around the other children, he gets sick because he has germs he's never dealt with before. There may be something in that live rock that helps your tank deal with some of these. It's kind of like a vaccination for your tank.
Yeah, I suppose. It could also not be a vaccination, or it could be a death sentence.
It could be. Or it could be.
Gamble. Loops LA Mike has done the super chat.
Yep, I just saw that. And what can you do to cool down a small aquarium? They do make chillers. They're quite expensive. I think one of the cheapest one I've seen is at least $350. I don't know where he's at that it would be over 80 degrees for his temperature.
Los Angeles.
Water.
If you want a DIY option, you could get one of these, a bottle, fill it with RO water and freeze it and put it in your sump or something.
Yep. Ice works well.
Yeah.
Where do you live, Loops? Are you on the equator?
It's looking like Los Angeles to me, if I had to guess. Loops, LA.
With LA, yeah.
Oh yeah, Loops, LA.
Could get warm.
I mean, I wouldn't worry about it if it's as long as you're not getting above like 80, 82 degrees. I mean, you must be running air conditioning as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Alex G was talking about bioluminescence in his tank that he's now seeing, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's next level stuff.
It is actually nice. That's like. Have you seen that blue algae that when it reacts it just glows a really vibrant blue? There's some beaches where like when it washes up and when the waves crash, the beach just goes blue, like a proper neon vibrant, like something that you would expect to see on a sign blue. It's crazy what nature has going on. Excuse me.
Yep, I would just say use the air conditioning if possible. I'm sure that's pretty expensive if you live in LA, but
yeah, it's always a good way if you can temperature control the room rather than trying to temperature control the tank. That's always the best option, because you're getting a nice all round type way of running the tank. You know what I mean? Because just trying to heat the tank on its own, it's not very practical in a way, because if you're utilizing the heat right across the board, right across the house, then it's a bit more functional. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Mm.
Ryan says he's got one rock that glows in the dark. Well, he's from Mass, so I don't know if he's ball busting or what.
Where'd you get the rock? Out on the corner?
Yeah, where is that rock?
I found it in the garden.
Yes, I started with freshwater lure. Yep, I started with freshwater. You must have missed it. We all had our confession moment.
The longest time I was in freshwater and I was scared to go into saltwater. I'm finding that saltwater, while can be a pain in the ass, it's easier, I think, now than freshwater. It really is.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I really don't even know how to explain it, but if you don't, I mean, I suppose it could be equal, but if you have no clue what you're talking about with freshwater, like how to properly put a light on and dose CO2 and what kind of fertilizers and what kind of plants, I mean, I suppose it's the same with saltwater. But I find saltwater very easy now as opposed to freshwater.
Yeah, well, you got rid of all your stupid problems from the freshwater. Starting with freshwater, you learned that oh, this will make a siphon and all the water will be on the floor, and that stupid stuff that you have to learn in the beginning.
Exactly. I mean, I guess you kind of got it out of the way, and now you're capable of dealing with corals and whatnot. Now, I've never gotten to SPS, so I can't say that by any means am I an expert in saltwater, but I have had freshwater planted tanks for like 30 years. And still, I think saltwater is a little bit easier.
Yeah, saltwater can be as difficult as you want it to be. You can go out and spend a lot of money on a lot of expensive equipment, but you do not need to. And I'm on the other side of that coin. I do have SPS. I have acros. I am not an expert. And back in my freshwater days, I couldn't keep plants alive. So kudos to you guys.
I'm with you with that because I couldn't keep plants alive either. I couldn't keep my red plants red. I couldn't, I couldn't even keep Amazon swords sometimes.
Right. They turn white.
Yeah.
It looked like a ghost.
I tell you, an Amazon swords are like flipping, they're like the bleeding green star polyps of the bleeding freshwater world. You can't kill them.
Right. But I always had crap lights on my tank when I was freshwater. I always had like incandescent, hoods and things like that.
Yeah.
So the thing with saltwater is, especially if you're making RODI and you're mixing your salt, you're giving the aquarium literally exactly what it needs. And then as far as what kind of corals you want to keep, you may have to do something or other. But with freshwater, like whatever's coming out of your tap, you have to deal with that. And everybody's tap water is different. Everybody has well water. And then if you're using RODI for plants, you have to add a lot of stuff to that water to get those plants to thrive.
I've seen the rack at the LFS. There's a lot of stuff for you guys to put in your freshwater tanks.
Oh, I mean, it's the same as saltwater. It's potassium, iron, your minerals, your micro elements, your macros. Like you can go crazy. I absolutely add nothing to this tank except CO2. I have a 5-gallon tank that does 1 to 3 bubbles per second, right in that area, and root tabs. That's it.
Yep.
And it works. I try to keep everything simple. Is this another super chat from same guy? I can't even read it.
No, you said awesome info. The guy with the chiller was asking that question in the beginning of the night.
Oh, this is Loops LA again. Awesome info with an O. Thanks, guys. You're welcome.
Well,
thanks again for the super chat. I really do appreciate that.
He gave you $5 for the question and $10 for the answer.
I think we just came across a good business thing. Right.
There you go. My aquarium answers.
Yeah, my aquarium answers. I'll mail it to you in a box. It might take a while for you to get your answer. Lisa's wants to start her saltwater, but she's intimidated.
Do it. Do it.
That's what I said. Do it. You can do it.
One of us. One of us.
I run my tanks extremely lean. My saltwater tanks are extremely, extremely lean. Nothing going on. No dosing. Barely anything in the filter besides all basically floss to get the debris out and some ChemiPure. And that is it. And I water change to replace the elements. And since I always fiddled with it and dosed this and did reefroids and tried this and tried that. And every time I tried all that crap, it didn't work out well in the long run for me. I think keeping it simple for me, and it's not for everybody because everybody's tanks, they run different. And once they figure out how to do it, that's the way they keep it. But for me, it's keeping it simple, and that's when it's the outcome has been the best.
Right. I base the whole thing on alkalinity, and if water changes can keep your alkalinity straight, that's all you need to do.
Yeah, and see, and that's the way Dave does it, and Michael uses natural seawater and hasn't touched a thing in who knows how long, but he's got to dose something. One of my favorite videos was what's it called? Reef Builders on Sanjay Yoshi's, I believe it's a 29 tall that he had nothing
running
on the tank. No carbon, no floss. It was just all mechanical, basically circling water through the tank. And he said he didn't do a water change in over 5 years.
Just
And the
topped
tank
it
was
off.
absolutely immaculate.
Yeah, just topped it off, and it's a great looking tank.
And that's what he said. He just topped it off, and then was asked why you didn't do a water change. Was it an experiment? And he's like, no, because it's upstairs, and I'm getting old, and I didn't feel like lifting buckets up from the basement. You know, because he's got a giant, you know, massive, awesome, beautiful tank down there. But the tank was just gorgeous. And I think a balance between, let's say, low bioload and cleanup crew, or, you know, whatever he had done, but to not do a water change in 5 years and just top off, granted, he only had soft corals. He didn't keep anything difficult that needs that, but just amazing the way you can get a balance on a tank like that.
It's like I was saying earlier on is you've got to run tanks based on what you can do, not what you want to do. Because like I've got this little nano to the side of me, and the nano tank, you know, I'd love to fill this full of SPS corals and just have it all like just a nice little SPS tank. But this tank can't handle that because it doesn't have the lights capable to grow or care for SPS corals. So I need to understand that this tank can only do certain things. So I need to set the tank up based on that. And I think if people, you know, had that understanding, then like what you're saying about Sanjay's tank is he knows that, you know, he only wants to do this and he don't want to do that. So to be able to do that, this is how the tank needs to be, you know, softies or whatever else, because then you can achieve that with certain things. So just knowing and understanding what you want from the tank, how you want the tank to run, and how the tank, you know, equipment wise, filtration wise, etc., you know, all of these different things are factors in how the tank will perform. And although you may want it to be like packed full to the rafters and fish and SPS corals, if your filtration can't handle it, if your lighting can't handle it, you can't do it. It's as simple as that until you upgrade to where you can. So they're just the things, aren't they? So like what you say, Mike, you know, you run it simple and you run it thingy, but you run the corals that match the way that you run. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yes, you always have to pick what. And I said it on Rico's live stream a couple weeks ago. Like, you know, don't plan to run your tank like me and fill it with SPS. It's not going to work. Like, you need to run the whatever corals or whatever plants you want to run has to fit your lifestyle. And that's how you can have a successful tank, is you have to know how much time you're willing to spend, what you want to do with your tanks, and it's got to be run like that. In my opinion, you have to run it to what you can handle.
Yeah, you want to enjoy it or you want to work at it, you know?
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
had 13,
Anytime a reef
14 tanks a little while ago, and it became a labor of love, and I had to get rid of all of them because it wasn't fun anymore.
Yeah. When it goes from being a fun hobby to a job, then it's like, oh, I can't be bothered with this anymore. You know what I mean? And that's what happens, and then stuff starts getting neglected, and you know, things like that, and it's not fun. Have you seen? Do you want to see my favorite fish? By the way,
Is that him, Mr. Grumpy Face?
there he is, Granddad. Granddad,
Hey,
my algae bunny.
That's what you call me. That's not cool.
Nah, he's cool.
Should rename that fish Dave Reefer.
Dave.
Oh, it's too grumpy.
Nah, Granddad. He's
Like
he's
a
an
grumpy
awesome
old
fish.
Italian guy.
He's never grumpy. He's very sociable. He lets you stroke him. He even lets you hold him sometimes. Absolutely wicked fish. I love him. Really cool. Great little algae, obviously. Great little algae grazer as well. Love him. Awesome fish.
I love the way those fish look. And I got one, and I killed him because I didn't have enough for him to eat, and I wasn't supplementing.
He's got plenty to eat. Like, you look at his belly. Like, if you just catch him when he's fully, look at his belly there. He's a massive fish. He's like he's the full length of my hand from my fingertips to my wrist, and the diameter of him is like he's a big fish. He's one of the biggest fish in my tank. He's bigger than the Achilles. He's bigger than the trigger as well. So he's a big fish, but he's like a Labrador. It's the best way to explain it. Right. He's just a little softer. Love him.
That's my coral hopping hawkfish. That dude is like a dog. Oof. The other fish could give two shits that I'm looking at the tank, and he just comes right to the front and just, what's up? What's going on?
I love those fish. I love any fish that does that.
Yeah.
That was triggerfish for me.
Yeah, my trigger's like that at the moment. She bites the glass when I put my finger too close. If I can't leave my hands in the tank too long because she thinks I'm food and she nips me. So I've got to be careful.
So how do you clean the gravel if you don't do any water changes?
I don't clean the gravel, so to speak. I just stir the gravel up. So I do it quite often. So I get a long stick. It's not a stick, it's a plastic pole, but I just put it in the gravel and rag the gravel around basically. And then all of the stuff that's trapped in the sand comes up into the water column and then flows out into my mechanical filtration, and that's how I remove it. I also do bubble scrubbing, nano bubble scrubbing, which when I do that to the gravel, the bubbles in the water column latch onto the particles that I've released and make it more likely that the crap will go out of the tank into the sump and be filtered out. So that's how I do it. So I just basically mix the sand. I only have 2 sand sifting starfish, which don't really do anything in that size tank. And other than that, when it comes to the gravel, that's it. That's how I do it. Just give it a good mix up every now and then and just release the stuff out of it and let the bubble scrubbing do its thing.
Dave's tank also looks beautiful.
Yeah, I do the exact same thing. We stir it up and we get it to get into the water column, and the corals actually eat a lot of that stuff too while it's floating around. Like you should see these acans when I'm doing that, they're just eating. They're in a feeding response, definitely.
My acans are not doing well with the new Kessel. They were super, super plump and awesome, and now they're just not happy.
You got them down on the sand bed?
Yeah, they're low. They're low in the tank.
Might be a little too much light for them, or they might just need to get used to it. They can put up with a lot, but they have to slowly get acclimated to it.
Yeah, it's only been a couple days since I set up the new light, but my other light was just, there was no ramp up and ramp down. It was just timer on, blast, timer off, done.
Daytime, nighttime.
Yeah, daytime and night. It's 12 noon and 12 midnight, all in about 1 second.
Well, you've just got the Kessel, haven't you?
Yep.
And you've just done a video on the spectral controller.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you use the spectral controller and set it to acclimation mode? And then that way give you corals chance to get used to the light rather than, just going, hey, here's the light, deal with it.
Yeah, but I've set the ramp up and ramp down. It ramps up from 0% and 0% all the way to, and the max is I stopped it at 70%.
It's quite
and then
strong.
It ramps back down.
It's quite strong that for a Kessel, and also there is no no, ignore what I was going to say there. But I would use if your corals are sulking, since you put the Kessel on, it's definitely like light acclimation. There's too much light in comparison to what there was before. So I would definitely say hit that acclimation mode on the spectral controller and just give them a chance to, to warm up to it, rather than, it's a bit like, stepping slowly into a hot bath and getting used to it than just bombing straight in and going, ah! You know what I mean?
Right.
So could just try that.
Yeah, I mean, I should hit the acclimation mode, but I looked up the acclimation mode and I basically set it to the acclimation mode.
Gotcha.
Right. Right.
But
Yeah, I don't know Kessels very well, so 70 sounds like a big percentage, but you know,
Yeah.
like
I mean, my lights on this tank don't go any higher than 65.
Right.
So that, you know, I run them at 100 at one point, and my corals hated it too much, burning them and everything.
Right.
So,
yeah, I maxed it out at I think it was 75. Was noon.
What made you choose that number? Just that was just the number that you went for.
I figured it would be stupid to go above 75% on any light, and it just kind of made sense with the settings, like ramp it up from 0 and 10%, then 5% and 25%, then 10.
Why
And then
not?
I figured it ramps up over a long period of time, and it's only at the 50 and 75% for 1 hour, which I would call, I guess, high noon.
Right. Because what I was going to say was, especially during this stage of them getting used to the new coral, maybe that 75%, reduce that 75% max down to 50% and reduce everything else accordingly to match. And then over the next few weeks, this week run at 50, next week run at 55, week after 60, 65 until you get to that 70. And then, you will have acclimated them and ramped them up rather than just going boom. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see Aptasia.
Yep, you do. I showed a good and a bad and the ugly.
Yeah. And he stayed on it for a while as well, so he's definitely not hiding it.
Yeah, I've had this in my phone for about 3 days. I just loaded it to YouTube. I didn't even put a voiceover on it yet. But it's not, I've been on live streams for 3 days, I feel like.
Yeah. Mike, I'm gonna have to bail out.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna call it too, because even though it's like morning for you, I'm ready to watch some Sports Center and go to bed.
That's
Yeah,
it.
It's 4:15 in the morning now for me, and I'm done.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
I'm tired now.
It's already Saturday for you.
I know. I've got to attempt to brave the snow to go and get some RO water, because all my RO water is frozen in my garden. So I need to go and buy some from the shop, which is heartbreaking, because I've got 200 liters of RO water in the back, but because it's -5 here at the moment Celsius,
Yeah, we don't know what that means.
you don't know what that means. It's probably something like, I don't even know.
Yeah. I wasn't watching the chat. I just saw it go by. I never lost power here, guys. So I've had power the whole time.
23 for you.
Oh, says turn on acclimation mode. Corals need time to adjust.
There you go. So there you
Reefing
go.
without knows his Kessels. So
Yeah, he does. He knows his tech. So there you go. See,
yeah.
Reefing with O's just back me up. So do it.
Yeah.
Do it. I probably won't do it, and my corals can just eat a dick.
And I do know Michael Aaron has a Kessel shirt, so that should mean something.
Oh, I didn't even get to give away anything tonight, so I'm gonna have to give all that stuff away on my next live stream. But I'd like to thank everybody for stopping by. I'd like to thank Mike and Dave for being in the chat and shooting the shit with me for a while. I love having you guys on. Dave, first time. Love having Michael on. He knows it.
Thanks for having us.
And yeah, well, let's say good night. Everybody say good night, and we'll call it a day.
Good night, YouTube.
Night, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.